Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a profound sense of silence? Of vast, beautiful, and overwhelming quiet. We see the light from distant stars, a visual echo of events that happened millions, even billions of years ago. But what if we could hear the universe? What if, buried deep within the cosmic static, there was another kind of echo? An echo of something that wasn't a star or a galaxy, but something else entirely. Tonight, we journey into a story that was locked away for half a century. A story of a sound, a whisper from the deep, an echo from another world that scientists discovered, and then decided the world was not ready to hear. Prepare to relax, to let go of your day, as we uncover a secret that has been waiting patiently in the quiet dark for 50 years. There's nothing for you to do but breathe and listen. Our story begins in an era of profound curiosity, the late 1960s. Humanity had just taken its first steps on the moon. The cosmos, once a realm of gods and myths, was becoming a tangible place we could reach out and touch. At the same time, another kind of exploration was underway, not with rockets, but with colossal metal dishes pointed toward the heavens. This was the dawn of radio astronomy. Scientists realized that the universe was not silent at all. It was screaming with energy, singing with strange radio waves. Pulsars spun like cosmic lighthouses, their beams of energy sweeping across the galaxy. Quasars, the brilliant hearts of ancient galaxies, blazed with the power of 1 trillion suns. These were the sounds of cosmic physics, violent, powerful, and yet understandable. Amid this celestial orchestra, astronomers began to listen for something more. A signal that was different, a signal that might be artificial. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence had begun, driven by the simple, powerful question, are we alone? It was a hopeful time, a time when anything seemed possible, when the next great discovery felt like it was just over the horizon. In the heart of a remote valley, far from the radio chatter of human cities, a great telescope stood sentinel. Imagine a dish so vast it could hold an entire football field. During the day, it was a monument of white steel, stark against the green hills. But at night, it came alive. It was an ear tilted toward the infinite, listening. Its purpose was to catch the faintest whispers from the cosmos. The scientists who worked there were a unique blend of physicist and poet, fluent in the language of mathematics, but driven by a profound sense of wonder. They would spend their nights in a quiet control room, surrounded by the gentle hum of electronics, watching green lines flicker across screens. Each flicker, each wave, was a message from the cosmos. Most of it was noise, the hiss of the universe, the background radiation left over from the Big Bang itself. But sometimes, through the static, a pattern would emerge. A pulse, a rhythm, a voice from the void. They were charting the unknown, creating the first maps of the invisible universe, and they were listening for a song they had never heard before. Let the gentle hum of that control room fill your mind. The quiet focus, the patient waiting. Feel the cool night air outside, the immense, silent sky above. There's only this moment, this place of quiet anticipation. On a calm, clear night in 1969, a young astronomer named Dr. Eris Thorne was on duty. He was cataloging pulsars in a distant patch of the sky near the Vela constellation. The work was methodical, almost meditative. The telescope would lock onto a coordinate, listen for a few minutes, and then move to the next. The data streamed in, a river of numbers and waves. For hours, everything was as expected. The familiar rhythmic beat of known pulsars, the steady hiss of deep space. But then, something appeared that broke the pattern. It was faint, incredibly faint, buried so deep in the noise it was almost invisible. It wasn't the sharp, powerful spike of a pulsar. It was more like a sigh, a long, drawn-out waveform that rose and fell with a strange, almost organic regularity. It was a ghost in the machine, a whisper in the cosmic wind. Dr. Thorne leaned closer to his screen, his heart beginning to beat a little faster. He ran diagnostics, checked the equipment. Was it interference? A weather balloon? A secret military satellite? The protocols were clear. You had to eliminate every possible terrestrial source before you could even begin to consider an alternative. So that is what he did. For the rest of that long, transformative night. The signal, which they began to call the Vela echo, was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It repeated, but not with the clockwork precision of a pulsar. Its rhythm was more complex. It had a structure, a kind of internal grammar. Imagine a piece of music, but instead of notes, the components were frequencies of radio waves. It had phrases, pauses, and refrains. It seemed to be telling a story, but in a language they could not comprehend. For weeks, the team at the observatory worked in secret. They pointed the telescope back to the same spot in the sky, night after night. And night after night, the echo was there. Faint, elusive, but undeniable. They ruled out every known natural phenomenon. It wasn't a quasar. It wasn't a maser. It wasn't any kind of stellar object they could identify. The signal's characteristics were perplexing. It seemed to originate from a single point, yet it was spread across a wide band of frequencies, something that should have been impossible. It was as if the sound was coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. The excitement in the small team was electric, but it was mingled with a growing sense of unease. What had they found? And what were they supposed to do with it? The director of the observatory, a cautious and respected man named Dr. Alistair Finch, convened a meeting. The air in the room was thick with unspoken questions. They had triple-checked the data. The Vela echo was real. It was persistent. And it was, for lack of a better word, unnatural. The implications were staggering. If it was an artificial signal, it was of a kind far beyond human technology. It wasn't a simple beacon like the ones humanity dreamed of sending. It was something vastly more complex, more ancient. Dr. Finch laid out the problem. They had a discovery that could change the world, but they had no way to prove it. The signal was too weak, too ambiguous. If they announced it, they would be met with a firestorm of media attention and likely scientific ridicule. They would be accused of sensationalism, of misinterpreting noise. Their careers and the reputation of the observatory would be at risk. Science, he argued, must be built on a foundation of certainty. And here, they had only a profound and beautiful mystery. Imagine the weight of that decision. to hold in your hands a secret of such magnitude, a potential answer to the oldest question, but to be unable to share it. The burden of knowledge can be heavier than the comfort of ignorance. The decision was made. It was not a conspiracy in the way we often imagine. There were no men in black coats, no threats of national security. It was a quieter, more scientific kind of secrecy, a decision born of caution and humility. They would classify the Vela echo data as anomalous instrumental noise, pending further review. They would write a short, internal paper filled with technical jargon, describing the signal's properties without speculating on its origin, and then they would archive the data. The magnetic tapes holding the faint, ghostly whisper from another world were carefully labeled and placed in a climate-controlled storage vault in the observatory's basement. The official explanation was that they would wait. They would wait for technology to advance, for telescopes to become more sensitive, for computers to become more powerful. They believed that one day a future generation of scientists would be able to pull the signal from the noise with undeniable clarity, and so the secret was kept. The Vela echo fell silent, not in the sky, but in the archives of human knowledge. The world continued on, oblivious, and the scientists who had found it went back to their work, forever changed by the secret they now carried. They would look up at the Vela constellation at night and wonder, knowing they had heard a whisper that no one else had. Decades passed. The 1960s became the 70s, then the 80s. The world changed. The scientists who had discovered the Vela echo grew old. Some retired, some passed away. The story of the strange signal became a kind of observatory legend, a ghost story told by senior technicians to new interns. The magnetic tapes sat in their metal canisters in the dark, silent vault. The world of astronomy, meanwhile, was revolutionized. The Voyager probes journeyed to the outer planets, sending back breathtaking images. The Hubble Space Telescope was launched into orbit, opening a new window onto the universe. Computers grew exponentially more powerful. The slow, methodical work of the past was replaced by the fire hose of data from automated sky surveys. The amount of information being collected was staggering. The universe was revealing its secrets at an incredible pace. But the Vela echo, the faint, complex whisper, remained forgotten. A single data point buried under an avalanche of new discoveries. It was a fossil, waiting in its stone of silence for a curious mind to brush away the dust. Imagine those years passing, the seasons changing outside the quiet vault, the slow, steady march of time, while this cosmic secret lay dormant, waiting patiently for its moment to re-emerge. Our story now shifts to the present day, to a young astrophysics graduate student named Dr. Ilara Vance. She wasn't a radio astronomer. Her specialty was data archaeology. She used advanced artificial intelligence algorithms to sift through old astronomical data, looking for patterns that might have been missed by human eyes. It was like being a historian, but her archives were petabytes of old survey data. Her artifacts were forgotten signals. She had secured a grant to digitize the entire archive of that old, remote observatory. It was a massive undertaking. Thousands of magnetic tapes, many of them degrading, had to be carefully cleaned, scanned, and converted into a modern digital format. Most of the data was exactly what she expected. Old pulsar readings, galactic hydrogen maps, the mundane bookkeeping of a working observatory. She was training her LI, which she had named Orpheus, to identify and filter out known signals, to look for the unusual, the outlier. For months, Orpheus worked silently, sifting through the digital ghosts of old observations. And then, one rainy Tuesday afternoon, an alert popped up on Alara's screen. The AI had flagged a file. Its designation was simple. Vela Survey, 1969. Anomalous noise. Alara was intrigued. The term anomalous noise was a catch-all for anything that couldn't be immediately explained. 99% of the time, it was just that. A glitch in the equipment, a problem with the tape, a stray signal from a passing airplane. But Orpheus hadn't just flagged it. It had assigned it a structural complexity score that was off the charts. According to the AI, this noise had a higher degree of non-random patterning than any known natural signal. Alara pulled up the raw data file. To her eyes, it looked like a mess, just a screen full of static. But the AI could see what she couldn't. She initiated the primary algorithm. Orpheus began to work, applying trillions of calculations per second. It was designed to act like a perfect set of noise-canceling headphones for cosmic data. It identified the background hiss of the universe and subtracted it. It identified the internal electronic noise of the old telescope and removed it. It identified the faint interference from Earth's own ionosphere and filtered it out. Slowly, layer by layer, the AI peeled back the decades of noise and static. Alara watched, mesmerized, as on her screen, out of the chaos, a shape began to emerge. A delicate, complex, and utterly beautiful waveform. The Vela echo was being heard again for the first time in 50 years. The signal was far clearer now than Dr. Thorne could have ever dreamed. The clean waveform, free from the noise, was breathtaking. It was a tapestry of interwoven frequencies, rising and falling in harmonious, intricate patterns. It wasn't a language of words, but it felt like a language nonetheless. A language of mathematics, of geometry, of music. Alara spent the next few weeks in a state of feverish excitement and disbelief. She cross-referenced the signal with every known astronomical phenomenon. It was a match for nothing. She ran simulations. No known physical process, not a spinning magnetor, not a binary black hole merger, not the strange physics of a cosmic string could produce a signal with this exact structure. The signal had properties that seemed almost biological in their complexity. It contained fractal patterns where the same intricate shapes repeated at smaller and smaller scales. It had long, repeating sequences, like the verses of a song. And most strangely of all, it contained numerical relationships that corresponded to fundamental physical constants. Pi, the golden ratio, the fine structure constant. They were embedded in the relationships between the frequencies, like a watermark woven into the very fabric of the signal. Alara knew she couldn't keep this to herself. She dug deeper into the observatory archives and found the old, forgotten internal paper written by Dr. Finch's team. Reading their cautious, understated words, she felt a profound connection to those scientists from half a century ago. She understood their dilemma, their awe, and their fear. But the world was different now. Science was more collaborative, more open, and she had what they didn't: undeniable, crystal clear data, thanks to her AI. She contacted the current director of the observatory and presented her findings. The reaction was a mixture of shock, skepticism, and finally, overwhelming excitement. A new, secret team was formed, composed of experts from around the world. Linguists, mathematicians, astrophysicists, and even philosophers were brought in to study the reborn Vela Echo. The secret was about to be revealed, but first, they had to try to understand what it was saying. What was this echo? Was it a message? Was it a beacon? Or was it something far stranger, something they didn't even have a word for yet? The quiet control room of the past was replaced by bustling video conferences. The silence of the night replaced by the hum of supercomputers. Let us now take a moment to simply be with the signal itself. Let your mind become the telescope, your consciousness the receiver. Imagine the sound, not as you would hear it with your ears, but as a feeling, a vibration in the quiet space of your mind. The sound is not loud or jarring. It is immensely gentle. It begins with a low, resonant hum, the sound of a vast, ancient bell struck once, billions of years ago, its reverberations still traveling across the cosmos. This bass hum is the canvas upon which the rest of the echo is painted. Feel this deep, calming vibration, letting it soothe the edges of your awareness. It is a sound of pure stability, a foundation of peace. Let it settle into your bones, a reminder of the deep, unwavering stillness that underlies all of existence. There are no sudden noises here, no sharp intrusions, just the slow, patient unfolding of a cosmic tone. Breathe in and feel the hum. Breathe out and let go of all tension. You are safe, floating in this river of ancient sound, this lullaby from the beginning of time. Upon this deep foundational hum, a new layer begins to emerge. It is a delicate, crystalline melody. Imagine tiny, shimmering bells, like ice crystals forming on a window pane in slow motion. These are the higher frequencies, the intricate details of the echo. They do not follow a simple scale like human music. Instead, they form geometric patterns, a triangle of notes followed by a square, then a pentagon. The melody is a lesson in pure mathematics, a visualization of form through sound. It's calming in its perfect logic, its flawless symmetry. It speaks of an intelligence, but not necessarily a consciousness. It is the intelligence of a crystal growing, of a snowflake forming, the universe expressing its own underlying mathematical beauty. As you listen to these crystalline chimes, allow your mind to appreciate the elegance of patterns. The world around us, from the spiral of a galaxy to the shell on a beach, is filled with this same geometric music. The Vela Echo is simply another verse in this universal poem. Let the clarity and purity of this sound wash over you, clearing your mind of clutter, leaving only a sense of clean, simple, and beautiful order. And now, a third layer becomes apparent, weaving between the deep hum and the crystalline chimes. This is the most mysterious layer. It sounds like whispers, not whispers of words, but of textures. The sound of wind blowing across a vast, empty plain. The sound of water flowing over smooth stones in a riverbed that has run for 1 billion years. The sound of sand falling in a colossal, galactic hourglass. These are not literal sounds, of course. They are radio frequencies that, when translated into our sensory experience, evoke these powerful, elemental images. This layer provides the echo with its sense of life, of process, of change. It speaks of time passing, of cosmic erosion and galactic weather. It is the voice of the universe as a living, breathing system. As you focus on these whispering textures, feel a sense of connection to the great, slow processes of nature. Feel yourself as part of this cosmic flow. You are not separate from the universe. You are a part of its unfolding story. The same forces that shape galaxies and move stellar winds are at work within you. Allow this layer of the echo to dissolve any sense of separation, to connect you with the vast, ancient life of the cosmos. The team of scientists studying the echo began to form a consensus, a theory that was both breathtaking and deeply humbling. The Vela echo, they concluded, was likely not a message sent by a living civilization. The energy required to broadcast such a complex signal across such a vast distance for so long would be astronomical, far beyond what any biological species could likely sustain. Instead, they proposed something even more profound. They believed the signal was a kind of sonic fossil, the echo of a vast planet-sized or even star-sized engineering project created by a civilization that may have vanished billions of years ago. It wasn't a message. It was the sound of their machine still running. Or, more poetically, the resonance of its ghost. Imagine a civilization so advanced that they could engineer the very fabric of space-time, creating a structure that would resonate, that would sing its mathematical song long after its creators were gone. It was a monument, not of stone, but of energy, a final, beautiful testament to their existence, left not for us to find, but simply left behind, a permanent feature of the local cosmos, like a mountain or a star. This theory explained many of the echo's strange properties, its persistence, its complexity, the fact that it seemed to come from a single point but was spread across many frequencies. The structure they were detecting was likely a gravitational lens or a manufactured wormhole still oscillating from its creation eons ago. The embedded physical constants were not a message to be read, but a natural consequence of its function, just as the sound of a bell is determined by its size, shape, and the metal it's made from. The song of this cosmic machine was determined by the fundamental physics of the universe it was built to manipulate. This was not a call saying, "We are here." It was a statement. We were here. It was a piece of cosmic archaeology of the highest order. It transformed the question from, "Are we alone?" to, "What else has this universe been home to?" It opened up the concept of deep time in a way that no fossilized bone on Earth ever could. The universe was not just a home for us now. It was a library of forgotten stories, a graveyard of magnificent, unimaginable empires. Consider the creators of this echo. We can never know what they looked like, what they thought, or what their civilization was like, but we can infer things from the nature of their creation. They were masters of physics, capable of engineering on a stellar scale. They were mathematicians and artists who chose to build a structure that was not only functional, but also harmonically and geometrically beautiful. Its song was not chaotic, but ordered, elegant, and peaceful. This implies a value for order, for harmony, for beauty. They were patient planners, building something designed to last for geological, even astronomical timescales. They were not building for the next quarter or the next century, but for eternity. Perhaps they knew their time was coming to an end. Perhaps their star was dying, or their galaxy was on a collision course with another. And so they built this monument, this final testament, not a tombstone with words, but a resonant structure that would continue to sing of their existence long after they had faded into silence. In a way, it is a profoundly optimistic act, an act of faith that even if there is no one to listen, the act of creating something beautiful and enduring has meaning in itself. Now let us return to that deep, peaceful place within you. As you continue to breathe slowly and evenly, let the story of the Vela echo become a metaphor for your own inner world. Just as the universe is filled with both noise and signal, our minds are often filled with the static of daily worries, anxieties, and random thoughts. This is the background noise of our consciousness. It is a natural part of being alive. But beneath that noise, there is always a deeper signal, a signal of calm, of peace, of your own true nature. It is a quiet hum, a steady presence that is always there, waiting to be listened to. You do not need a powerful AI to find it. You only need the intention to listen, the willingness to gently filter out the noise, not by fighting it, but by simply letting it pass by, like clouds in the sky. Your breath is the tool that helps you do this. Each time you focus on your breath, you are tuning your inner receiver to that deeper frequency of calm. You are subtracting the noise, layer by layer, until you can begin to feel that steady, peaceful echo of your own being. It has been there all along, waiting patiently. Think about the layers of the Vela echo. The deep foundational hum is like the fundamental peace that resides at the core of your being. It is the part of you that is unchanging, stable, and always present, no matter the storms on the surface. When you feel lost or overwhelmed, you can always return to this foundation. Just the simple feeling of your body resting, the steady beat of your heart, the silent knowledge that you are here now. This is your resonant hum, the crystalline chimes, the geometric melodies of the echo are like the moments of clarity and insight that arise from that quiet place. When your mind is calm, you can see the elegant patterns of your own life, the connections you might have missed in the noise. You find solutions to problems not by forcing them, but by allowing them to emerge from a place of order and peace. These are the beautiful, logical structures of your own inner wisdom. Let yourself rest in this place of clarity now, feeling the simple, elegant truth of this present moment. And the whispering, textural layer of the echo the sound of cosmic winds and ancient rivers. This is a metaphor for the flow of life itself. It reminds us that everything is in process, everything is changing, and that there is a deep, natural beauty in this flow. We often resist change. We try to hold on to things, creating tension and stress. But listening to this layer of the echo encourages us to let go, to trust the process, to feel ourselves as part of a great, unfolding story. The universe has been flowing and changing for nearly 14 billion years. It is a process we can trust. Allow yourself to feel that trust. Now, trust in the rising and falling of your own breath. Trust in the journey of your own life. You don't need to control everything. You can simply allow things to be, to flow. Like the sound of wind over ancient plains, this acceptance brings a profound sense of peace. You are part of the flow, and in this moment, all is well. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be, just here, now, flowing with a gentle, cosmic rhythm. After months of verification and peer review, the day finally came for Alara Vance and her international team to announce their findings to the world. The press conference was broadcast globally. Alara, standing at the podium, felt the weight of 50 years of silence on her shoulders. She did not present the Vela Echo as proof of alien life. Instead, she presented it as something far more subtle and perhaps more meaningful. She called it a cosmological artifact, a candidate for the first discovery of a remnant of a paleo-technological civilization. She played a converted audio file of the signal for the assembled press. A hush fell over the room as the strange, beautiful, and haunting sound filled the air. The deep hum, the crystalline chimes, the elemental whispers. It was the sound of a ghost, a memory embedded in the fabric of the cosmos. For a moment, the entire world stopped and listened together to a song that had traveled for billions of years to reach them. A song that had been caught once and then lost and was now found again. The reaction was not what Dr. Finch had feared 50 years earlier. There was no mass panic or widespread ridicule. The world had changed. Humanity had grown up a little. The reaction was one of pure, unadulterated wonder. People were captivated by the beauty of the sound and the immensity of the story. The Vela Echo became a global phenomenon. Composers created music inspired by its melodies. Artists created works based on its fractal patterns. Meditators used the sound as a focus for achieving deep states of peace. The echo did not answer the question, "Are we alone?" It replaced it with 1,000 new, more beautiful questions. What other songs are hidden in the static? What other ruins lie buried in deep time? What other forgotten stories does the universe hold? The discovery did not make people feel small or insignificant. On the contrary, it made them feel connected to something immeasurably vast and ancient. It gave humanity a new context, a longer story to be a part of. The universe was no longer just a cold, empty place filled with mindless physics. It was a place of memory, of history, of potential ghosts and forgotten songs. For many, the most profound impact of the Vela Echo was personal and spiritual. The sound itself, when listened to in a quiet space, seemed to have a deeply calming effect on the human nervous system. Its complex, non-repeating, yet orderly patterns were fascinating to the conscious mind, while its deep, resonant frequencies were soothing to the primal brain. It became a kind of universal lullaby. People fell asleep to it, finding that it quieted the anxious chatter of their minds and led them into deep, restful sleep. Its sound seemed to resonate with something ancient within us. Perhaps, some speculated it was because we ourselves are made of stardust, remnants of ancient cosmic events. Perhaps our atoms remembered this kind of music. It was a sound that felt like coming home, a return to the source. It was a reminder that even in our most isolated moments, we are connected to a vast, cosmic orchestra, a story that stretches back to the beginning of time. And all we have to do to feel that connection is to become quiet and listen. Imagine yourself now, floating in the deep, quiet space where the Vela Echo was born. There are no stars here, no light, only a perfect, velvety darkness. It is not a scary darkness, but a comforting one, a pre-creation emptiness, full of potential. Feel the absence of gravity, the release of all physical tension. Your body is light, ethereal, and in this perfect stillness, you can feel the echo, not with your ears, but with your whole being. The deep hum resonates in your chest, a feeling of profound stability and peace. The crystalline chimes dance around your mind, not as thoughts, but as patterns of light and energy, clearing away all confusion, leaving only perfect clarity. The elemental whispers flow through you, a gentle river of energy, washing away any lingering stress or worry, connecting you to the timeless flow of the universe. This is the gift of the echo. It is a direct experience of the harmony that underlies all things. A reminder of the peace that is your natural state. Let this feeling envelop you completely now. A warm, safe blanket of cosmic sound. This state of deep cosmic listening has a profound effect. As you float in this space, your sense of a separate self begins to dissolve. The boundaries between you and the universe become soft and permeable. The idea of you as a collection of worries, memories, and plans fades away. What is left is simply awareness. Pure, peaceful, present awareness. You are the listener, but you are also the sound. You are the emptiness of space, but you are also the vibrant energy flowing through it. This is the perspective that the echo offers. It lifts us out of our small, personal stories and places us within the grand, universal one. From this vantage point, the problems and stresses of daily life appear in their true proportion. Small, temporary, and ultimately insignificant in the grand scheme of things. This is not a depressing thought, but a liberating one. It frees you from the burden of taking everything so seriously. It allows you to relax, to let go, and to trust that you are part of something much bigger, more beautiful, and more enduring than your individual worries. The discovery of the Vela Echo also changed the way scientists searched for life elsewhere. The old model was of listening for a deliberate hello message, a simple, repeated beacon. The new model, inspired by the echo, was to search for cosmic artifacts, to look for the unintended byproducts of technology, the industrial noise, the heat signatures of massive engineering projects, the atmospheric traces left by a civilization, or most poetically, to search for their ghosts, to look for the faint, lingering resonances of technologies created by civilizations that may have been gone for millions or billions of years. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence became less about communication and then more about archaeology. It became a patient, quiet search for the ruins of forgotten gods. This shift in perspective was more sustainable, more patient. It didn't require a quick reply. It required only a deep and careful listening to the long, slow story of the cosmos. A story that is constantly unfolding, its pages filled with the rise and fall of suns, planets, and perhaps civilizations. And what does this mean for you as you lie here on the verge of sleep? It means that the silence is not empty. It is full of stories, of possibilities, of ancient music. When you feel alone, remember the Vela echo. Remember that you are floating in a cosmos that has been home to wonders we can't even imagine. The very atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of stars that died long ago. You are a child of the universe, a temporary collection of stardust that has woken up for a brief moment to contemplate itself. You are a way for the cosmos to know itself, and the quietest moments are when you can feel that connection most deeply. So do not be afraid of the quiet. Do not be afraid of the darkness. They are your home. They are the canvas upon which all of creation is painted. And they are filled with the faintest, most beautiful music if you only take the time to listen. Allow yourself to sink into that deep, knowing silence now. The silence that is not an absence of sound, but the presence of everything. The story of the Vela Echo is, in the end, a story about time, the almost incomprehensible spans of deep cosmic time. The 50 years the signal spent hidden in an archive is just the blink of an eye compared to the billions of years it traveled through space. This perspective can bring a great sense of peace. Our own lives, our own worries, exist on a much smaller, more manageable timescale. The anxieties we hold about tomorrow, or the regrets we have about yesterday, they all exist within this tiny sliver of time. But when we connect with the timescale of the universe, we can gain a sense of liberation. We are part of a process that is so vast, so ancient, that our individual struggles lose their sharp, painful edges. Imagine placing your worries into a small boat and pushing it out onto a vast, cosmic ocean. Watch as it drifts away, becoming smaller and smaller until it disappears into the immensity of the horizon. What is left is just the calm, steady rhythm of the ocean itself. This is the peace of the cosmic perspective, a peace that is always available to you whenever you choose to remember it. The greatest secret that the scientists of 1969 were protecting was not that aliens exist. It was a more subtle, philosophical truth. The secret was that the universe is far stranger, more wonderful, and more mysterious than we could ever imagine. that history is longer than we thought, and that the silence is filled with ghosts. They hid it because they weren't sure we were ready for that level of wonder. They thought it might break our fragile sense of importance, but they were wrong. Wonder does not break us, it heals us. It reminds us that there is more to life than our mundane concerns. It opens our hearts and minds to possibility. It inspires us to be more curious, more creative, and more compassionate. To feel wonder is to feel alive. And the Vela Echo is a pure source of that feeling. It is a direct invitation from the universe to be amazed. So as you drift closer to sleep, allow yourself to accept that invitation. Let go of the need to know, the need to have all the answers, and instead, simply rest in the beautiful, peaceful mystery of it all. The mystery is the point. The final lesson of the Vela Echo is a lesson in listening. In our loud, busy world, we have forgotten how to listen. We listen to reply. We listen to judge. We listen while thinking about something else entirely. But the Echo teaches us a different kind of listening, a deep listening, a patient listening without agenda, without expectation. It is the kind of listening a parent gives to a sleeping child, or that we give to the sound of rain on the roof. It is a listening that is a form of love, of pure presence. This is how the scientists in 1969 listened. This is how Laura Vance listened with her AI. And this is how you can listen now to the sound of your own breath, to the quiet hum of the room around you. This kind of listening is the key to peace. It is the key to connection. And it is the key to falling into a deep, restful, and profound sleep. There is no effort required. Simply allow your awareness to rest gently on the soundscape of this present moment. The universe is speaking in its quiet, subtle language. All you have to do is listen, and in the listening you will find rest. Deep, profound, and peaceful rest. So now, let the story fade into the background. Let the facts and figures dissolve. Let the names and dates drift away like leaves on a stream. All that remains is the feeling of vastness, the feeling of peace, the feeling of connection to an ancient, beautiful, and mysterious universe. This feeling is now a part of you. You can carry it into your sleep, and it will be there when you wake. It is a resource of calm that you can access at any time. The echo from another world has become an echo within you, a resonant frequency of peace that you can tune into whenever you need it. Let it be the last sound you are aware of as you drift away. The deep hum, the crystalline chimes, the elemental whispers, a lullaby sung across billions of years, just for you, in this quiet, peaceful moment. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to think about, only to surrender to the gentle gravity of sleep, to let go, and to drift into the deep, dark, and silent ocean of dreams. Sleep now, rest now, peace be with you. And so, our journey to the heart of this 50-year-old secret comes to a gentle close. We have traveled back in time to a quiet control room where a profound mystery was first heard. We have witnessed the silence of the archive, where the secret was kept, not out of malice, but out of a deep scientific humility. And we have seen its rebirth through new technology and a new generation's curiosity, transforming it from anomalous noise into a cosmic artifact of breathtaking beauty. The Vela Echo stands as a monument, not just to a long-lost, unknown civilization, but to the power of human curiosity, the importance of patient listening, and the healing power of wonder. It reminds us that the universe is not a silent void, but a library of ancient stories. And we have only just learned how to read the first word. Thank you for joining me on this peaceful journey tonight. I hope this story has brought you a sense of calm and a deep sense of connection to the magnificent cosmos we are all a part of. If you've enjoyed this lecture, please consider subscribing to the channel for more journeys into science and serenity. Your likes and comments help this peaceful content reach others who may need it. And now, as you settle into the final moments before sleep, I leave you with a question to ponder in your dreams. If you could send one sound, one echo of humanity out into the cosmos to last for 1 billion years, what would it be? Sweet dreams,